I'm down in Huish in Wiltshire, next to Wilcot and Orr, and I've got to climb that bloody hill over there. I want to have a look at those barrows at the top. They look very nice on the lidar, and I've the Saxon charters around here look very good as well. This rise, this escarpment behind me is called three different things in this area, all of which talk about that bank. So I'm next to Draycot, and a dray might mean slope, but the English Place Name Society thinks it does. And uh, next door to it is a place called Orr, and that comes the Old English Oran, which means bank, slope, or steep slope. And in the perambulation of the forest of Savernake, which used to cover most of this area, probably covered this bit I'm stood on, that at the top of that bank is called Bovacleva, and that's a sort of 1290, something like that, and that means above the cliff. So we've got, or cleave, cleave and cliff are the same word. Cliff to us means almost vertical slope, and cleave just means a really steep slope.
Taking pride of place at the end of the spur is a disc barrow, and disc barrows are fancy barrows. The rest of the barrows are basically upturned pudding bowls, but these are like the discuses that you threw at school. They are flat plates with a bulb in the middle. There is some suggestion that they are graves for women in the Bronze Age, though they are fancy enough to be later than your average bowl barrow. Alongside this barrow cemetery is the boundary, the tithe boundary between the manors of Draycot and Huish. And Huish incidentally means enough land for one family, independence and so on. So there may be some suggestion of continuity, that the land was divided up in the Bronze Age and the pattern was set at that point. But obviously this is not enough evidence to actually make that claim. Normally I would say a barrow cemetery like this is looking down upon us in the valley and giving us the opportunity to look up upon them. But in this case, the prehistoric landscape is behind the Barrow Cemetery, up on the plateau, above the valley, and we can see that from these earthworks here. It seems that the landscape below is a Romano British and early English landscape, and still is an English landscape today. You might have noticed that here is what looks like a long barrow, but it is not. It is three bowl barrows that share one ditch that goes around all of them, obviously declaring to us some sort of affinity between the people buried there. And these three barrows have degraded, merging into one bank. They were dug in the 19th century, and Bronze Age artefacts found inside, bits of pottery and bone and so on. They were cremation burials.
Hello, gorgeous.
Can you see that woodland behind me? That's some of the most beautiful woodland in England, in Wiltshire anyway. And it's a great big watch of it. It's called Westwood. And I was looking at the internet as you do, and what popped into my feed was a young American speaking Old English. An impeccable accent. Is, you know, when he's speaking English normally he speaks with an American accent, but when he speaks Old English he sounds like somebody from the Thames Valley, with some vowels that make him sound like a Swiss goat herder. Die. But anyway, he was saying there's two words in Old English for wood, and I'm not going to embarrass him naming him. I'm not going to show you a picture or make any cryptic allusion to who he is. Though I expect if you're following my channel you may well be following his. Now there are more than two words for wood in Old English, because we are English, and the woodland is like, it's like the Eskimos with their all the names for snow. We have bloody hundreds of words for woodland, for fields, and so on. You know, different words for sheep. But here's some. I did do the research. It's not that I couldn't let it go, or you know, that I'm a 50-year-old man with more sense, who should have more sense. Who's trying to compete with youngsters. Anyway, let me find this page. So here's some words for wood in Old English. Now there's obviously woodo and holte, which he brings out. Obviously those are good ones. Now if you type in Old English words for wood, AI will tell you there's two English words for wood, and it's just nonsense. He should have researched a bit further. What's unforgivable is missing out Lee. Lech in Old English. There's various different types of it, of that, variations. And so what you have is all of those place names in England that have Lee on the end, they are all alluding to a wood. Now, they're probably not woods today, and it later on became a clearing in a wood and then rough pasture. In the sort of 18th century, Lee is still being used in poetry for, we're skipping gaily through the Lee, and basically a field of grass. So it's unforgivable to think there's only two words for wood in Old English. It's, if you know a little bit about England, you'll know that's not true. So it's not unforgivable if you're American. You don't know anything about England really, do you? But you know you're missing something though, don't you? And you want to come back. But anyway, we also have Feach there, which is today Frith. We have Harath. Now it's not used anymore, but you will see Harwoods, and that's coming from Harath. Grav, which we use today, Grove. We have possibly, this might be an adjective, coppidae. Now the Oxford English Dictionary thinks that copist comes from French, Old French, though the Anglo-Saxons might have nicked it from the French. This is, I'm sure there must be places in America that are called shore. We have shaga, and that ra is comes out as W today, shore. And much the same way there's a hara of Old English comes out as whore today. We've got Hurst, there must be Hurst in America. Barrows, now this is quite a cryptic one. It means a place where, a wood where you put your pigs in, and they'll eat all the oak mast, beech mast. We have Wild, which becomes Wald, Cotswolds and the Weald today. We have Hungra. Now there's loads and loads of hanging woods, hanger woods on English maps. Still call them today, but the meaning of it is lost. Nobody knows what it means, but it means a wood that hangs like hangs like a saddle over a hill. We have Hulte, which might be a variation of Holte. We have Wudu Yahai, which I know Wudu and Hay we've done, but there's loads and loads of compounds of all of these, and this is a hedged wood. And then we have Den, which means a place where you keep pigs, a wood which you keep pigs. Now, AI says that there's 2. I make that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, AI makes us idiots, makes us morons. It's time we stop using it. For Middle English, I wrote a few notes from Middle English. Now, this is not a word for, well, it is a word for wood, but it's useful to you. Now, so let's stop kicking the poor lad. We've got Middle English, we have assart. Have you ever wondered what an assart is? It is a newly cleared piece of woodland to make a field. Middle English coppice, which comes from Old French, and it is a woodland that's continually cut. It is a sustainable method of getting us firewood, heating. We don't need to use coal and oil and so on. We have the Latin boscus and bosci. They are useful words to remember. They are, if you know, in charters and so on, you may come across it old medieval documents. And if you're northern, we have scalf. It comes from skograr. If you do your Old Norse, you'll say it like skograr, and that is the Norse version of shaga, and it means woodland. But you get English places because of the influence of the Norse. The Norse somehow tricked the Northerners into putting up with them, and so we have names like that, scoff or scow. I don't know. My southern tongue says scow, but there's a part of me that says, this is probably how the Northerners say it. And the last one we have in Old English, glad, and it is glade today. You can't have a pleasant clearing in a wood without a wood. So we've got the glade. It's an interesting ditch there. We have these enigmatic dikes up here, and they're not drainage ditches, they're definitely dikes. They're territorial, they may even be defensive. So, obviously you'd have to have a bit more than just a ditch and a counterscarp to do that, but it does seem to be defending this dean here, this valley, this coombe. Over there, can you see? It comes out over there, so it goes along here through the woods, down the valley, then up the valley here, and along here. It may well be defending the valley. The valley must be a weak point of some sort to something that I don't know of, but could be just customs, a post for customs officials. You're bringing your cart up here with contraband, and they stop you from taking a detour around you. But anyway, that's an idea. I don't know whether that's true or not. Over there is Westwood, absolutely gorgeous. Why it still exists when woodland has been cut open everywhere else, been cut down everywhere else, I don't know. Well, the seasons are passing. I think we're passing into another one. I think it seems like. Only yesterday I was mourning the end of summer and into autumn, and now I'm quite cheerful about going into winter. But I'm making the same mistake every year of not preparing correctly. I should have all my equipment charged overnight, ready to go. And I I should be out the door at 8 o'clock for a full day's hiking. Instead, I get out, get 2 hours of good light, and now we're getting into bad light. What a lovely landscape this is. It doesn't have the look of chalk downland. It's got these lovely oaks, but it is a grazed landscape. So there's 2 charters this area, and I'm obviously not going to do anything about them because I got here too late. My hands are frozen. It is about 4 degrees Celsius. The wind chill factor, I think, is a bit lower than that. I feel like I'm 12 again on a cross-country run. But yeah, so there's, with forests, when the forests are royal lands, they're for hunting, for the king to go hunting, not for you and I. To pass through it, we have to pay a tax. So all the roads went around the forest, and what a pretty place. So the Savernake forest is a great big lump of woodland just over about 3 or 4 miles that way, but it did extend up to the Ridgeway. So it mentions the Ridgeway in the 1300s, I think it is, to go up the Ridgeway up to the Kennet. And it also mentions Walker's Way, which is a road back there, and it's about a mile and a bit that way. So what we're seeing is a massive area that was given over to the king. So I might have made a mistake today, not coming out without my boots. I made the strategic decision to come out with me plimsolls. There are some good holloways around here, so coming out with my plimsolls instead of my boots, because I wasn't anywhere near a stream. The streams are mentioned in the charters, but the charters soon leave them behind. But I just fancied to walk up here. I wanted to have a look at those barrows back there, and this is a fine holloway here. I didn't used to believe in them as something that happened naturally. I assumed it was the action of water, but I am assured it is not human feet but wheeled traffic that loosen the ground, and then in the winter that loosened ground washes away and just gets deeper and deeper. So it's something that's happened since we had wheels, so let's say the Bronze Age. It could be a little bit earlier. But you're seeing something of old England going down a holloway. Though you'll find them in places like Germany as well. But look how the light is receding. Look at those ashes, they're dying. It's not just winter losing their leaves, you can see they're suffering. So yeah, looking at the maps, I didn't understand why these ditches went into this, to cover this small dean, this valley. And I can see now it is an easy approach. See, I should have walked up here, it wouldn't have been so knackering. So the coombe cuts into the ridge, making it easy to get up. A nice gentle stroll up a gentle slope. And obviously somebody wanted to control it. So it makes sense now. It doesn't make sense on the map when you see it marked on the map, but coming here, yeah, you get it.